Manchester United are in their 5th final.
Hello, the eyes of the world are on Wembley this weekend. The Champions League Final is the most viewed annual sporting event on the planet, and its appeal only increased this time round by the presence of two of football's finest, Manchester United and Barcelona. Well, I'm joined here this evening by three of football's finest, Ediur, Gudjohnsen, Graeme Souness and Jamie Redknapp. Graeme, the eve of the final, something you've experienced on more than one occasion.
Yeah, you just want to get started. The boys, or at least Man United, have been out there already. They've had a feel of the pitch. But these are two big teams, Jeff, that are used to playing in big games, but this is a very special game. The Champions League Final. You know, if you win this, you can call yourself the best team in Europe. And it is going to be a special game tomorrow. I think you've got two teams with enormous history and two teams that really, on paper, should give us a great game of football.
Jamie, will they know by now who's playing and who's not?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I think there's been a couple of little question marks over a few different players. Obviously, people like Carlos Puyol, will he play or won't he? Obviously, Ediur from Barcelona's point of view. I think Manchester United's team pretty much picks itself, but I agree with Graeme. I mean, winners of their respective leagues, the best player in the world is going to be on view. Just doesn't get any better.
Ediur, Barcelona are going to be training here shortly. I'm sure they can't wait to get on with it, especially bearing in mind they've been here since Tuesday. How difficult will they have found that time here, 4 days away?
Well, they obviously didn't want to take any chances. I think I got the blame for that, being Icelandic, the whole volcano setup. They had obviously the bad experience from last year where they had to travel to Italy in the semi-final against Inter Milan by coach. So didn't want to take any risks. I'm sure they're glad to get out on the pitch for the last training session, just fine-tune everything and be ready for tomorrow.
Okay. Big day ahead, there's no doubt about that. 86,000 fans will be here. They'll pay an astonishing £14 million. Not surprisingly, it's the most expensive final ever and the first here. And though the stadium has been rebuilt, it is now, as it always has been, the venue of legends.
From my hometown, memories of phrase. From my hometown.
We have to say, as a stadium, it does have the wow factor these days, doesn't it? Barcelona fans have already been inside, by the way. Yeah, that's their end, the far end there, and they have been busily assembling a sign which says, "We love Wembley." It was, of course, where they won their first Champions League title. And I know, Graeme Souness, you know, that you were blown away a bit by the stadium when you arrived here.
Yeah, I think this is up there with any other football stadium you care to mention. We were in Schalke earlier, Jeff, in the previous round. That's a super stadium. You know, the one in Cardiff's a super stadium, but I just think this, you know, when you stand here and look around and the way the tiers are laid out, the way the private boxes are laid out, it's a unique stadium. And they've now got a decent pitch. They've eventually went to the top man, a guy called John Mallinson in Ormskirk, who's now responsible for that pitch. It is perfect. It suits, if you're a player, this is an arena and it's a pitch you want to play on.
It's the home of football, Graeme, isn't it? Is it held in such high esteem around the world as what we do in this country, Ediur?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think the only thing lacking with this stadium is probably the history that the old one had. But in years to come, the history will be made here, and tomorrow evening will be a part of that.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson has been speaking to the assembled media. Let's hear what he had to say.
The success that both teams have had, and you're right, in the last decade has been enormous, and it could not just be the final of the decade, it could really be the best final of the decade. I think the attraction of two great teams with great history is obvious, and it's an appealing final in terms of what could have happened in the game. Anything could happen in this game tomorrow. There could be a lot of goals, there could be a lot of excitement, and there'll be a lot of good football, I'm sure of that. So it is set up, the platform's there, hopefully it turns out that way.
Manchester United have been training behind us for the last hour or so. Jamie, the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson's talking about this as maybe the final of the decade, well, we're right at the start of the decade, but we know what he means.
I know what you mean.
Does that just hint to you that they won't be cautious, that they will go for it?
Will they be cautious? I think a lot of that depends on how much possession they're able to get. I think that's the problem when you play against his Barcelona side, Jeff, is getting the ball back. So if they can get possession, if they can get the ball up to Rooney, Hernandez, yes, it has the makings of a great final, because there's so many world-class footballers that can turn a game in an instant second. But it's all there. Everything is there for this to be an incredible football match. You know, look at the ingredients. Some of the players that are there. Well, you know, some of the best players in the world are there, isn't there?
Yeah, and the fact that it's only 2 years since they played each other in the Champions League final. The sense that we get is that final left Man United with a bitter taste in their mouth, as in didn't really turn up on the night, and I'm sure they'll be looking to set that straight.
That's something you don't see every day, isn't it? Paul Scholes winning a tackle nice and cleanly. Of course, it's a big day for all the players, but I guess in particular, Graeme, for Edwin van der Sar, probably his final game.
Yeah, my last game for Liverpool was 1984, a European Cup final, funnily enough. And I know the emotions that go through your head. And I think for him, I personally think it's a mistake, because I think he's got life left in him. I think the way he's played this season, he's as responsible as anyone else in that United squad for them having success this season. And
what a way to go out, though, Graeme, if he wins tomorrow night. To remember your last ever game as a Champions League winner.
Yeah, but you know you win.
You can only go downhill from there.
You know you win things, but you want more of it. You know, and for me, I think it's a mistake. Like, I don't see any problems with him. I have not looked at Edwin van der Sar this year and thought, he's showing signs. For me, he's not. I think he should continue.
He's going to leave a big gap, a big responsibility for the next goalkeeper to step in and fill those footsteps.
And that's always been a problem area for Man United historically. Apart from Schmeichel, they had you had a long spell of trying to get a replacement for Schmeichel. How do you replace Schmeichel? You don't, but you try and get someone who's a top man. And I think they struggled for a long time, and this guy's come in and
I'm sure we all remember the brief reign of Taibbi in goal, and what a disaster that was. Sure. I mean, he's at one end of the pitch, but what about the other end of the pitch, Ediur? I mean, they've got Billy Wiz himself, Hernandez, who started scoring goals, as soon as he arrived, and he's never stopped.
No, well, he opened his account right here, didn't he, on in his first game, debut for Manchester United, although it wasn't the prettiest of goals.
Well, he won't mind that, though.
No,
it's all about being in the right place at the right time.
They all
it's
count.
Something he's done persistently through the season.
They all count, and he's been.
This is the one you're talking about,
the season. Yeah, this is the goal we're talking about. He played maybe 10-15 minutes. And it's fair to say this is a poacher's goal, isn't it?
But look at I love his face afterwards.
It's great.
And I think from that day, we knew we had someone that was going to be buzzy, enjoy the Premier League, a great addition to what the Premier League is all about. Look at that. I mean, that's clinical. That is absolutely...
He's got this Solskjaer look about him, like a baby-faced assassin,
Yeah, very much so.
And he's grown very much this season. I think his movement off the ball is second to none. His hunger and desire to get himself in goal-scoring positions is something for young boys to look at and try and copy, because it's fantastic.
And the real bonus for Man United, if you like, is the way that Wayne Rooney's played because of him. I think a large part of Wayne Rooney's form is because he now only wants to run one way. He's never attracted towards the ball. He wants to get on the shoulder of people, run that way, which makes the pitch a little bit bigger. Definitely. And it allows Wayne Rooney a bit of time and space to get his head up, and Wayne Rooney makes clever passes.
And also, since he's coming to the team, Graeme, Rooney's coming to that number 10 role, isn't he? Instead of playing on the left or on the right where he doesn't want to be, he's playing his favourite role, number 10.
Let's hear a little more from the Manchester United camp, shall we? Here's Nemanja Vidic talking with Jeff Shreves.
Your home record is fantastic. Because it is Wembley and England, do you almost regard this as a home game?
I don't think so. You can say Wembley is a home ground. It's different. I think pitch as well is different. I don't say it's bad. I think it's good pitch, but at the same way, I think the way of ball moving, I think, is different, and in terms of the speed and that kind of the things. But yes, I'm glad we play in England. In terms of the preparation for the game, it helps because organization of the trips, obviously the hotels. Obviously, last night it was in theatre, which in Rome we didn't go. Obviously, because of we feel homely here because we are in England. But in terms of the stadium, they will have support of 25,000. We'll have the same, and will be equal in terms of the support.
So when they were singing "I Can't Take My Eyes Off of You," were you thinking of the Champions League trophy last night?
Yes, obviously. You think always about how good feeling it will be if you win the trophy, but you have to first to jump and say hop. You have to perform on the game. You have to really perform best of your qualities because you're facing the really good side. And like I said, I think we are prepared enough, and we believe we can have the good game.
Thank you, Nemanja. Good luck.
Thanks, Jeff.
Training just finished, and it was observed by Manchester United's slightly controversial owners, the Glazer family, here in force this afternoon, and having a little word with Wayne Rooney, wishing him luck for tomorrow. And as Manchester United's training session finished, Barcelona arrived to prepare for theirs. Desperate to have a game, I guess, having been here since Tuesday. We'll hear from Pep Guardiola and see them train a little later. But next, how the game could be won or lost, and how much hinges on getting to grips with that little fella. Welcome back. Now, when Manchester United won the Champions League in 1999, they went through the entire campaign unbeaten, just as they have this time round on the road to Wembley.
Can this United side emulate the Busby Babes of '68?
Hernandez! Rooney scores! Mission accomplished by Alec Ferguson and Manchester United. They do top Group C.
United, good value for progressing beyond the reigning French champions. It's the perfect start! Javier Hernandez at the double! Two modern giants of the English game. Rooney! Wouldn't you just know it? Normal meetings may be different, but the overriding emotions are the same. And it's Gudjohnsen Park in space! How about that?
Manchester United coming out for their 12th semi-final in this competition. Ryan Giggs gets the better of Neuer. It's Rooney, it must be two, it is. Manchester United exuded European experience and class in the first leg. And here is Valencia. And still Anderson. That one counts. Manchester United are in their 5th final in this competition.
Well, that's how Manchester United reached this Champions League final. Now, while I'm down here at pitchside, let's take a look at how both teams might approach the game with Graeme and Jamie upstairs in our studio.
Jeff, Graeme and I are going to try and get